this is a leaf blotch minor moth. Now, there's actually a ton of different types of these minor moths found everywhere except for Antarctica. Now, the most distinctive thing about these leaf blotch minor moths are the behaviors of their larvae. This is an example of a larva of one type of leaf blotch minor moth doing its thing. These larvae exhibit the specific leaf mining behavior. Now, this isn't exclusive to moths. There are types of leaf mining ants and beetles and flies and sometimes wasps, but there are quite a few different types of leaf mining moth larvae. So what happens is the adult moth will go find a suitable leaf of the correct host plant, and host plants vary depending on species. Then the adult will lay down eggs into the leaf, which will hatch into the larva, and the larva will start eating through the plant and doing the mining. That usually results in these very distinctive patterns up there like that are made through the mining process, where the larva will actually tunnel in between the two distinct epithelial layers of the leaf. So they're actually tunneling inside the leaf between the very, very thin layers and eating up all of the inside stuff until they get too large to actually do that anymore. Then, once the larva has eaten enough and has reached the correct size and health, they will undergo the metamorphosis to transform into the full adult, at which point they will rinse and repeat this whole process. Now, leaf blotch minor moths are actually all in the same rather large family, so of course there is quite a lot of variation between the different species. Some will form galls, which I've talked about a little bit before, mostly in the case of wasps. But some moths also will form these galls, and some will make a tent by rolling up a leaf, kind of like a— nope, can't say that on TikTok. They'll roll up a leaf. Now, understandably, this is not great for most of the plants. They need their leaves to do photosynthesis and water exchange and a number of other things. So having these little guys tunneling through the skin of their leaves is not usually great. So in many places, these guys are considered to be crop pests or invasive species if they've come into an area that they're not native to. However, like all things on this planet, there are other benefits to these insects, such as being used as a biological pest control against some invasive plant species. For example, there's a type of inchworm that has been introduced to Canada specifically to control the growth of the invasive St. John's wort. Since these guys are so specific to their host plants, there's no real danger of introducing them to an area because they will only go for those specific host plants and leave the native plants alone, thus reducing the health of the invasive plants but maintaining the health of the other ones in the ecosystem.